Hi everyone, welcome to the Level 5 Leadership Socratic Dialogue. Level 5 Leadership Socratic Dialogue. I can assure you, today you can experience a lot of myth busters. I can assure you that you'll go through a lot of good myth busters today. So this concept of Level 5 leadership comes from the research of Professor Jim Collins, who was earlier with Stanford University. And he had written this book, Great by Choice, Good to Great, and also Built to Last. These are three amazing books written by Professor Jim Collins. So Jim Collins' research showed that all the 10XL companies which grew 10 times faster than the competition, actually had these people called Level 5 leaders. So who are these Level 5 leaders and why do we need these Level 5 leaders? How would it impact our startups? How would it impact our companies? How would it impact all of our lives? This is what we'll all get to discuss today. I hope this will be an amazing, inspiring, and life-changing day today. On that note, I would like to request my participants to introduce themselves. So if one of you wants to go ahead first, so please go ahead, introduce yourself. This is Tarun and I'm your moderator for the day. Yeah.
Should I go ahead?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, hi, this is Sumang. I am a product researcher at DeepThought. I've been working here for 13 months now.
Okay, thank you, Umang. Who's going next?
I'll go next. Hi, everyone. I'm Harshvardhan. I am a UX designer and a project manager and a product manager and an aspiring leader. And I've been here at DeepThought since February.
Okay, thank you, Harsh. That need not be the format of introduction. So please feel free to introduce yourself the way you wish to. Who's going next? Yeah.
Okay, I am Sandhya and I'm a growth hacker in DeepThought. Yeah, that is, I don't have anything much to say about me.
Okay, thank you, Sandhya.
Hi everyone, I'm Shomita and I have been a member of Value Lab and I am in DeepThought since 4 months. That about it.
Okay, thank you, Somita. Thank you all for your introductions. So I'd like to start the dialogue by asking you, who according to you is a Level 5 leader?
Who aspires me?
Who inspires you?
Okay.
Or who creates aspiration in you? Okay. Anyone else? Who according to you is a Level 5 leader?
According to me, a Level 5 leader is someone who works for a cause. That cause will work towards betterment of the company and the world, and also tries to instill that cause into his members, his organization.
Okay, can you give me an example?
An example.
Let's say you're running a food company. Let's say you're running a restaurant. So what would you do if you're a Level 5 leader?
So if I was a Level 5 leader where I was running a restaurant, let's say I'm trying to make sure that food, good quality and fresh food goes forward to the customers, to the chefs, to the waiters, to the people.
How is that a cause? If you're giving fresh food, what cause are you pursuing? If you're giving fresh food, what outcome do you want to see in the world if people are eating fresh food?
They might have a good health, so they can be more productive.
You're pursuing the cause of health, right? You want people to lead healthy lives. So that's the cause you're projecting. Okay. Anyone else, according to you, who's a Level 5 leader?
Mahatma Gandhi.
And why?
Because he made so many people go to the Dandi March with him. He influenced so many people.
If you influence so many people, you're a Level 5 leader.
Not just that, but he took accountability for it. And so he had a motivation that was bigger than himself.
What is that motivation which was bigger than himself?
The freedom of India.
Why was freedom of India a cause to pursue? Why was it an important cause?
Because under British rule, many people are suffering. So, like Gandhi able to give that inspiration. If India has a freedom, you will be more happier, and you can be like you can do your things independent. You don't need to follow other rules.
So was Gandhi just about freeing India from Britishers?
No,
No. He wanted to make everybody's life better as well. He wanted to spread ahimsa.
So was it just about freeing India from Britishers, or was it about the cause of creating an India?
Because for the cause of creating an India that would actually grow, it would just not be oppressed by someone else.
And isn't that a wonderful cause? Because you're the only country which has got freedom through non-violence.
Yes.
No other country in the world, took this path to get freedom. So, okay, anybody else, according to you, who's a level 5 leader?
yeah,
I will say that one more quality of a level 5 leader is the people's person. He believes in people. Okay, and
He or she.
okay, he or she. I'm just using a he when I
So
say
we can
he.
use a she then. Yeah.
Okay, she. All right, sure. So if she, when she is a people's person, I will say that humble to everyone, has that humility to listen what you know and his or her people needs.
Okay.
I mean, the person is not only thinker but a doer.
Okay. So I have one critical question. And I'll ask the same question which Jim Collins was asked, right? So Jim Collins was doing this session on level 5 leadership. And one lady listening to his presentation, she's like, hey, your empirical creativity is great. Your productive paranoia is great. Your fanatic discipline is great. Your good to great is great. But she's like, I'm the CEO. I'm definitely not a level 5 leader. My ego is what got me to this position. My ego gives me the drive. So what do you think is a problem? I mean, when Jim Collins says humility is an important quality of a level 5 leader, but don't we see that most CEOs or most leaders around us are egoistic? What's the problem?
Personally, I believe that the difference between a level 5 leader and an egoistic leader is that level 5 leader tries to bring everyone around him in his company, in his team, to believe in the cause. It becomes like a fuel for them to actually go past their normal limits, to grow more.
Okay, and why do you think that becomes a fuel for them?
Because wait, let me just articulate this. So it's like when they realize the work that they're doing is not just for themselves but for a bigger cause. It's bigger than them. It creates motivation inside of them.
Okay.
It makes them want to do more. It makes them want to not just be like, okay, I'll get a salary at the end of the month, but more like how my task, how what I'm working on actually pushes them more. Like creates growth, creates value in the world.
Okay. So we'll do a role reversal for about 10 minutes. So you guys can ask questions and I'll present some things of Jim Collins' research. We'll just flip and see how it goes. So Jim Collins' research, I mean, he presents it in one of his lectures that he looked at all the companies which were 10xers, that is the companies which are doing 10 times better than the competition, at least. And he was trying to find the common traits of all these companies. And then he was trying to find this and then suddenly realized all these companies had these level 5 leaders, and that's how this concept of level 5 leader came in. And yes, he defines level 5 leaders to be people who are pursuing a cause, who are pursuing a larger cause, and who push that larger cause towards people. And their ego is not bigger. Their ego is not bigger than the larger cause. And he gives this case study, this very interesting case study of a CEO. Just give you the name. Dane Miller, of a company called Biomet. So in one of these articles, Jim Collins writes that in 1990s, Business Week was publishing a study on the salary that a CEO gets, and the performance that the CEO has given. And in that study, this guy Dane Miller, was ranked #1 globally. And it was not just that 1 year, but consecutively and in different publications, Forbes, Business Week, Chief Executive Magazine, in different magazines, consecutively he was ranked #1. And they analyzed why. And what they found was most CEOs were taking huge salary and they were taking stock options. Stock options means if I want to, I can buy that stock at a lower price later on, right? Because I'm an employee, I get that stock option, and only if the company is doing well would I buy that stock at a lower price. But Dane Miller did not take a stock option. He took the stock upright. So he was one of the lowest paid CEOs in the world in that sense, because he directly took stock in the company. If the company did well, he would get paid more. If the company didn't do well, he would go down. But the other CEOs who took stock option, they would gain if the company is doing well. But if the company is not doing well, they wouldn't lose much. So he presents the story of Dane Miller. That Dane Miller was one of the level 5 leaders, and he pushed Biomet in a big way. And when Dane Miller was asked, why didn't you, why are you one of the most underpaid CEOs? He said, beyond this, you're just getting greedy. You're going into the greed complex, which will never get satisfied. And said, I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with my company. And that's how he drew the growth of Biomet. So this is a very interesting story around level 5 leadership. And I'm happy to take some questions about level 5 leadership. And the argument here is level 5 leaders are able to grow their companies 10x. And Dane Miller here, I think, was able to give much better corporate performance linked to, the ratio, right? Corporate performance to salary. His ratio was the best with respect to multiple magazines and multiple years. So this is a story, and I would love to take questions about this.
Apart from this quality of level 5 leader of showing the people the cause, the moral cause, and let's say believing in the company, and you said as Dave Miller take the stock upset. What are the other qualities that a level 5 leader should have?
So see, Jim Collins in the book, he makes it very clear that he's trying to understand a black box. He says, I don't know what's inside this box, but I know this box is making companies grow very fast. I don't know what's inside this box, but by using this box, companies are growing very fast. And what's that box? He called it level 5 leadership. So, fanatic discipline, productive paranoia, 10xer mindset, and level 5 discipline, level 5 leadership. So, but when he was asked what makes somebody a level 5 leader, he said he doesn't know and is not studied that enough. So in the book, he mentions only 2 major qualities. One is that humility, and the other one is to direct people to something bigger than himself, right? To show that cause and to show that purpose towards which people are going. So I think mainly he talks of these 2, right? People are highly humble and people are able to project that cause to everyone. They're highly ambitious. They're highly ambitious and they're able to project that cause to people. And he talks of, in another book, he talks of that professional will. So if you ask me, humility, professional will, and high amount of ambition. Next question.
Can you elaborate on professional will? I think I am unclear, a bit unclear about it. Professional.
What is that will, right? Will is you want to do it, right? You go to any extent to get it done. So you get the job done. You figure out the way to get the thing done.
Okay. So here the question arises that if I do have a will, if I do have a cause, what if the cause is, let's say, inappropriate?
That's not, I mean, in the study, we're not going into that question because who decides what is appropriate or inappropriate? So here we are only studying this thing ki, if you have a cause or if you have an objective to meet, you want to be highly successful at bringing people together to meet that. Level 5 leadership is a way to do that. Because I don't know Jim Collins' opinion, but if you ask me, was Adolf Hitler a level 5 leader? I will say Adolf Hitler was a level 5 leader. Because he had a cause which we would not agree with because he killed a lot of people due to that cause. But from his perspective, from the perspective of the people who went by that cause, they were actually pursuing the cause. And so people were able to deliver way more than their potential because they acted in the interest of the cause and not out of self-interest.
I mean, does always leadership works, level 5 leadership works to drive that 10x growth?
So in the Jim Collins study, he was not able to observe how, but he saw that as a common pattern that 10x companies were driven by level 5 leaders. But if you want to just make a guess, I mean, there's no research backing this, but you want to make a guess, level 5 leaders, as you know, as Harsh said a little earlier, are able to make people perform way above their potential. Because think about it this way, if you are a professional fighter and you're a professional shooter and you're trying to shoot someone versus you're a freedom fighter and you're fighting for your country and you're trying to shoot, in which case are you more likely to succeed?
Second case.
Because you're doing it for a larger cause, right? Because you're doing it for a larger cause, you're able to punch way above your weight. So one thing to look at is the level 5 leader is able to put a cause above everybody's own greed, everybody's own self-interest and the leader's own self-interest. And because you know you're doing it for the larger cause, your conscience is with you, you're able to punch way above your weight and you can give a much better performance.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Dan Miller was someone who believed in the cause and tried to make everyone in his company also believe in that cause. What about someone who is not yet a level 5 leader and wants to take the step towards that? Like, what are the steps they would take?
So one is to work on humility, right? How do you, mellow down on your ego a bit? Try to humble down that you are not important. The cause is more important than anything else, to see that. And second thing is, I mean, that's the most important thing, right? How do you drive ambition in everyone towards that cause? And the second thing is, to practice that humility, to mellow down your ego and, constantly remind yourself that the cause is more important than you are. I think this will be the most important thing to practice, right? And I would say to enjoy the happiness of other people, to enjoy the impact you're able to create on people, and to cut down on the attention which you're trying to get for yourself. I think this could be something which people could do to move towards level 5 leadership. Focus on the impact, focus on the cause, communicate the impact, communicate the cause, disown the praise, stay away from the praise, stay away from that attention, and focus more on how you can drive that impact.
As you said that the happiness of other people could be a drive as well. So could it also go through the point of satisfying the uncontrollable greed complex as well? Because making other people happy is also feeling somebody's ego, right?
I would perhaps think not, because when you're thinking of a large community of people, and if you're doing it truly for the cause, then at that point, I think you're likely to reach the transcendence, right? As per Maslow's hierarchy, where you're going beyond the idea of self. I think it's a nice space to be in if you go beyond the idea of self, because that's when the greed complex and many of these things can break. If that idea of self can break. Self, right? That notion of self, for me, what's in it for me? Will I get this? Will I get attention? Will I get money? Will I get fame? Will I get power? There's the me, right? The moment the me goes away.
I have a question. I mean, I think I'm having little difficulty to
Interestingly,
understand this.
I was watching this movie. I was watching this movie called Khaki today. And there was a dialogue which this guy tells. He says कि बिहार में हम बोलते हैं, हम मैं नहीं बोलते हैं, हम बोलते हैं. And he says आप मैं से हम तक आ जाइए. You please come from me to us. You'll see there's so much of power in the hum. There's so much of love in the hum. There's so much of impact in that hum. So the moment you come from मैं to hum, you become half Bihari. He says that. So that I thought was a very interesting perspective, right? That's again a kind of transcendence where you're not thinking about me, but you're always thinking about us.
Yes.
So maybe that's another way of progressing towards a level 5 leader where you break that ego, right? That ego is in the I.
A question out of curiosity.
Hmm.
Can there be disadvantages? Okay, not disadvantages. Can there be, no, I will say, probability that even a level 5 leader fails?
Absolutely right. Because we don't have, we have data of level 5 leader successes, but we don't have enough data of level 5 leader failures. There are some uncontrollables, right? But the strength that a level 5 leader brings in is the ability to bring everyone together, ability to make everyone perform way above their potential. And more than anything else, I think if a level 5 leader is able to make people align to, if a level 5 leader is able to make everyone align to a cause, if your satisfaction is linked to a cause and not through material needs, you're more likely to be happy, right? Because if you're only going after money and if your definition of success is to make a lot of money, when will you ever be happy? But if your definition of success is around pursuing that cause and creating that impact, you're satisfied by seeing that impact. You want to create more impact, but you're not going into that greed complex. You make enough money for yourself. You have enough resources for yourself to do something, but you're not getting into that greed complex, right? So it's nice if you have a lot of level 5 leaders who are able to make people pursue the cause rather than pursue material needs. Because Mahatma Gandhi said, there's enough for everybody's spiritual needs, but not for, there's enough for everybody's need, not for everybody's greed. There's enough for everybody's need, not for everybody's greed. So he said, please go for the spiritual resources. Don't go for the material resources, because material resources are limited. And if you think about it, world's largest corporates, which are performing well today, all of them again are aligned to a cause, and you see the senior managements communicating that cause, communicating the reason why the company exists, trying to align everybody to that reason of why the companies exist. The data is here to show that value alignment is very important to corporate success. Maybe small companies don't understand it, but senior managements do understand that values alignment is key to corporate success. And level 5 leader plays a key role in terms of ensuring that values alignment.
Okay, for example, if egoistic leader making everyone align to the cause because of the person's ego. I mean, why it can't be happen?
Beyond a point, people can see through it, right? Beyond a point, people can see through it, right? That person is aligning, but that person is brainwashing everyone for that person's own personal gain. So when people can see through it, people would be like, why am I doing it? I'm doing it for this person. that potential is lost, right? That potential is wasted, right? People's potential. When people can see through and say, hey, this guy is doing it for self-interest. What's in it for me? Why should I do it? Because the thing is, when there's a true level 5 leader and people see that level 5 leader, people get inspired by that level 5 leader. People feel like even I have to do something. You see a Gandhi, you're like, even Gandhi is doing so much. What am I doing for my country? Let me also go do it. There's that multiplier effect there, right? And a level 5 leader might be successful at creating many more level 5 leaders. Okay. So now once again, let's do a role reversal. And let's say, if you are trying to lead as a level 5 leader, what would you be doing? Now that you've heard all these conversations, what would you be doing as a level 5 leader? Or what is it that you'd want to start doing from Monday?
As a leader who's trying to become a level 5 leader, I think just for starter, I would try to follow three things. First thing, to make sure that I myself am believing in the cause and trying to make sure that everyone who's working with me is also understanding and believing in the cause. Second, to bring forward more humility, at least from my own example, so that my team members are also able to understand that, okay, he's becoming humble, so that, you know, we also can become humble. And third, take a sort of accountability and responsibility as well, so that and it's I'm not just doing it for myself to finish the task or to get to the end of the month. It's more about the cause.
Okay.
For me, the first step will be to build rigor, as in, so that I can also make sure that I can stick to the path as well. I am also aligning to the purpose as well. Then the next step will be start. The start could be, developing humility among me, and the next step could be try to connect with others as well.
Okay.
For me, like I believe in this, like change starts within you. So that first of all, when I do any task, like I will understand, okay, what is the value or cause behind this. So then I can communicate to others, like it's not a task, but this is the value it brings. So I think uh, that like keeping me aside and trying to align with the values and communicating to the others the same.
Okay. So instead of having instructions, if you can show people what's the transformation this can bring out, what is the what is the cause we are all pursuing and what transformation we're bringing out by doing what we're doing, that could be a great way to communicate with teams rather than communicate instructions, and put yourself aside and put the bigger picture in front of people. Okay, that's a great point, Sandhya. Yeah, anyone else has something to add?
I think it's said by Harsh and Sanjay. But still, let me say, the first step would be, forgetting that title, okay, of leader, that you are someone, and being as equal person, okay, as others. Understanding, each and every one. Uh, having that humility to understand people. Secondly, is to find it that cause. I would say first of all, that what is that cause, okay, that which I will share with people and get their buy-in. So a lot of efforts in finding that cause, I would say, and finding small steps which can lead to that cause. Experimenting some small ideas which can lead to that achieving that cause.
Okay, brilliant. So now I have a simple question. How do you think all of this can fuel corporate growth? How do you think you becoming level 5 leader would fuel corporate growth?
I as I said before in the beginning, I think when you are a level 5 leader, you are also uh, like people who work with you also uh, get fueled by that cause. They grow more, they push themselves more, which in turn leads to more growth for the company and for the world.
Okay.
Okay, it's like if many people are aligning to the cause, it decreases the tangents. I mean, people won't go more tangents, and they will be more productive. And also, I mean, many people stressed out if they do the task, but if they think in terms of value, they will be more stress free, and they will grow faster. So it leads to the company's growth as well.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Would lack of initiative be a bigger problem for a company, or would people going on so many tangents and doing things which are not necessarily relevant be a bigger problem for a company?
I think lack of tangents are bigger problem. Sorry, lack of initiatives are bigger problem than going to tangents.
Going into tangents, is it addressable?
Yes.
How?
Yes. When you are building that rigor and you are helping your teams to build the rigor as well, then the going to the tangents will be reduced.
Because who is having that ownership to reduce the tangent?
A leader.
The leader or the individual member?
I think everyone,
Individual member.
we
Yeah,
have
but who usually has the highest ownership to reduce the tangent?
The leader.
Why did the person go into the tangent in the first place?
Because they are not focused
Forget the
to
focus. Why did
goal.
they do that? Why did they do that?
because they would be trying to innovate and come up with new ideas for
Exactly. So who's showing the highest ownership there?
the person himself.
So who's trying to correct the tangent?
The person himself.
But in the lack of initiative, who is taking the ownership?
No one.
The leader. So where are you more likely to succeed? When the leader takes the ownership or when the person takes the ownership?
When the person takes the ownership.
So what is a happier problem to solve?
Tangents.
Tangents.
Because when I was doing the culture study with various founders, people are tangents are all okay. People don't do anything. That's the problem. People wait for us to tell what to do. Lack of initiative. But if you have this values and purpose driven approach to communication everywhere and your focus is always that purpose, would you have that initiative? Because we as humans we have that collaborative gene in us, right? So we are social creatures. So we like to, do good. We like to see good. You see the WhatsApp forwards which people send. We like to see good. I mean, all the fake news, the brighter side of the fake news is people like to see good. People want good to spread. And that's why they spread the fake news. So one, initiative levels can go up. Two, Sandhya spoke of stress. Would you be proud of yourself if you're doing something for the larger cause than for your own greed? And would that calm you down? And the third thing is, when you have a larger purpose or larger cause you're focused on, would your mind be focused on that one thing? Then would a lot of other things get smaller in your life? Would pain and suffering then get smaller in your life? Interestingly, one startup founder in Vizag told me this story. He said one reason why a lot of youth and a lot of people are suffering is because they don't have that one focus. that one thing they want to focus on again and again to improve in it. So there are hundreds of things to look at and they don't know what to do, and they're carried away by so many pains, they're carried away by so many sufferings. But if that one thing to focus on, every other pain in life would have become small and they would have just been trying to get better at that one thing. And I do think level 5 leaders can help people find that one thing, that one North Star they want to go after. So, I mean, somebody might call this a moral science session, but it's not. We're discussing hardcore economics here, that if you have more level 5 leaders, you have more wealth creation, which is happening. And, research data of Jim Collins has, shown that. Rather than people going after greed, I think if people are going after a cause, there's more productivity, there's more wealth creation, better for the economy, better for the society. What is good for the society is being good for the economy. What is good for the economy is being good for the society. So I'd like to conclude this Socratic dialogue by asking you, what are your key takeaways from this dialogue?
For me, the key takeaway is that I realized that a level 5 leader allows his team member, like his or her team members, to grow more. And that in itself, to me, it's a good enough cause currently. If people can grow more, and if the organization can grow more just because there's a cause that everyone can follow that is just bigger than them, that right now is more than good enough for me.
Okay. Anyone else?
For me, it's like for a level 5 leader, other than anything, cause is very important. Like how much you are determined to that cause and how you can do better for that cause.
Okay.
For me, it is as simple as, instead of going towards, I will say, achieving your revenue KPIs, okay, and focusing just on it. I will say just having a zoom out, having a bigger cause, will open a lot more possibilities and a lot more results will come. They might not contribute right now in the economic value creation, but gradually in the future, it might create 10x value creation for the organization.
Brilliant point, Umang. I think there are a lot of companies which don't talk KPIs in terms of how much money you did or how many customers you got, but they ask in terms of how many lives have you impacted. So I think this is a great point, right? To start thinking in this direction, right? With more transformational KPIs. Okay.
For me, level 5 leader, having a level 5 leader in a corporate or in any organization will give birth to different innovative ideas, as well as people who are taking accountability for themselves as well. So it will create such kind of environment where everybody is driven by a purpose, everybody is driven by their own contribution rather than what they are getting out of it. And also, I had a myth buster again in this point as well, that in a team where there is a level 5 leader, there everybody takes responsibility, and it is a better thing to going on a tangent rather than having people in a team who are not taking initiatives.
Right. So this concludes the program, and I hope everybody who's been watching this has got some real good takeaways in terms of what does it mean to be a level 5 leader and the economic impact that level 5 leaders can create. And we hope this will inspire you to keep thinking in terms of a cause, instead of looking at just as a transactional goal. Can you look at it as a cause and pursue that cause? Because that'll bring out the best version of you, and that'll bring out the best for the world as well. What's good for you is good for the world. Thanks a lot for joining.